But now I'll rise above you.
To be with this amazing crowd. Yes, King of the wave.
But now I'll rise above you.
Dudes, you are amazing. I will never forget you. Thank you so much.
For sure, this is one of the sickest events I've ever done in my life. The crowd is fantastic.
I have so much good experience from last year and this year again, so it's a pleasure to be here. The crowd was insane, all the riders are so good with me, so I'm just enjoying my time here.
Rock and roll is your 2023 Best Chick winner with the Cali, Julien Vanstippen!
Everything is in my head, everything. A lot of preparation, it's 90% mental.
King of the whip!
Thank you very much. Right, thank you guys for coming here to the World of Yamaha, this auditorium. Who would have thought this was here? Maybe you guys did. I had no idea this existed in a moto shop, but I just found out it's not just a moto shop. It's boats, moto, drum kits out there. We do have, actually, we've got a drummer here. I'm okay. Where is Patterson Bowden? We do have a drummer, so he can probably put on a little bit of a solo a little bit later on. We'll bring Pat up on stage. We are on live stream, so hello to everybody watching on the live stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. We've got Moto Media here, which is fantastic, and a lot of friends that I've met over the last couple of years coming down here to Johannesburg. So thank you very much for coming out for this press conference, and it's quite cool that we're getting a press conference for King of the Whip. It has grown so much since I've been here. So this is my third year in Joburg, and Ryan, was it 4 years before? 3 years before that. So this is now, we're on our 6th year, right? I can count, that's good, it's more than 5, so we've got to 6. I can't believe how big this event is, and as you guys can probably tell who are definitely involved in this, the riders that we've got up here, and we're going to bring more up, and we've still got more internationals coming, speaks volumes to how big this event is around the world. Everybody loves it. We've got Tom coming up as well. We've got Julien Vanstippen. So we've got X Games gold medalists in Best Whip. We've got some of the best riders in the world, and we'll talk about Andreu as well. because he doesn't really come from the moto scene. We've got a mountain bike rider here as well. So I'm going to just do a quick sponsor rattle off, only because these kind of things don't happen without the sponsors. And I think we all know that in motocross, anything with off-road. So a huge thanks to LW Magazine for making this happen in the first place. We wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Ryan and LW Mag. Also, to Ford South Africa. It's been a couple of years now that Ford have been on, and this has been awesome to see the new vehicles coming out, the Rangers. We've been driven around in them. It's fantastic. So to Ford South Africa, thank you very much to their support. Monster Energy. We can see a few caps up here already, which is fantastic. So to have Monster, such a big global brand, supporting this event is also, again, it shows the level that this event has got to. Yamaha South Africa, here we are, World of Yamaha. To have Yamaha here, obviously the truck at Montecasino, that was a highlight for me to even see that the first year. I guess, Dalton, you've spent a fair bit of time in that truck. It's fantastic that these guys are supporting this event as well. To Garmin, Motul, GoPro, and I'm going to try and get the name of this one right. Play Soho. Did I get that right? Not Sogo? Play Soho. I think I got it close. Thank you very much to those guys. And I think there's even betting for the very first time with Play Soho. Yep, correct. And Estrella Cerveza. So we'll be taking part with some Estrella Cerveza after the show. So guys, thank you very much for coming out. We will do this as a press conference. Up here, of course, you guys already know him being the locals. We have the local, Dalton Venter, who just happens to ride any bike that is sitting in front of him. So you're on a borrowed bike this weekend. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Saw you revving the hell out of it out at Terratopia today. We've also got Antonio Navas from Spain, one of the legends down there, as old as I am, but he's still riding, which is good to see. Andreu Lacondeguy, also from Spain, so we've got the two Catalan guys. And we've also got Wanky from Japan, also one of the best whippers in the world. And I think an X Games medal or two? Yeah. All right. So we're going to have a quick chat with these guys to see why they're here, why they're going to throw down this weekend, and what they think this is actually going to turn out like, because we've got some big boys coming up in the next group of riders as well. So it's going to get a little bit interesting. I'm going to throw it over to Dalton. First question is the borrowed bike. What's happened?
Yeah, so I wasn't meant to be jumping at all this year, and Ryan asked me to. Didn't have a bike at all. And then I actually phoned one of my friends, Doran. He was kind enough to let me a bike for the weekend, which is quite cool. And yeah, that's about it. So whatever gets put in front of me, I'll ride it.
I like that. And whatever jump is put in front of you. The ramp, a metal ramp. Because when I first came over, so the story goes, I first got here 2 years ago. And I was out at Terratopia with Dallan and the guys. And Dalton was there, first jumps on the ramp, some of the biggest whips I've ever seen. And he came up to the start of the run-up and he thought, I don't know, I don't think I'll do this competition. Like, man, if you ride, you can nearly win this competition. So the fact that you just jumped whatever was in front of you on whatever bike that's in front of you, that speaks levels to the competition that we're about to have this weekend. Last time, actually 2 years ago, you were in the final. You could have nearly won that one, but it almost looked like you ran out of puff. Have you got a plan for this year?
Well, we're going to go tomorrow night and hopefully adapting towards the night. We're not used to that. So hopefully tomorrow night I can adapt and we can still turn down some big ones at night as well.
Yeah. Who would be your stiffest competition from the South African side? I mean,
I want to beat Jesse. I need to beat Jesse.
Yeah, we'll talk to Jesse in a minute. What do you think you've got on Jesse?
Well, at this moment, I don't know, but I need to go both ways because we're going both ways. But yeah, I just need to crank one big one and hopefully I can beat him.
That's what I like to hear. Right, Antonio Navas, first time at King of the Whip. Is this your first time in South Africa?
Yeah.
Also, how are you enjoying it?
It's good. Like the steaks. Meat is insane. Yeah. No, so far so good. So I'm happy to be here. I want to thank Ryan for the opportunity and can't wait to ride with all of you guys and enjoy the ride with the rest of the crew.
Mate, you're probably not so much into the whips. You're more into the tricks, right? Because this is not just the best whip competition. We do have best trick as well. What have you got for the best trick comp?
Well, first of all, I want to have fun on the bike. You know, I'm not a big whip master. I can throw some whips, but like I said, I want to have fun and then enjoy also with the best trick comp and enjoy with the crowd. This I like the most, you know, riding and enjoy with the crowd.
Now, actually, for you guys, you probably don't know, your teammates with, I think he was our best trick winner last year in the uprights, Mark Pignol. So you both ride in the team Lleidas.
Yep.
You come from the same town of Lleida
Same.
in Spain.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mark can't make it this year. But what's it like riding with a dude like that? Like, you guys must be pushing each other daily.
That's so good, you know. That's why I'm 41 now. I'm still riding and it feels so good, you know. And it's because I'm always surrounded with the younger people that is pushing hard, and that makes the fun of it, you know. So yeah, being with Mark since day one, it's super fun always, you know.
Awesome. Andreu Lacondeguy. I had to learn the right pronunciation of your name, so I think I've got it right now. Andreu is the mountain bike rider converted to free. I got to call you free rider, because you're more into that scene with big whips. Although your 360s are not too bad in freestyle motocross. Why did you decide to disappear from the mountain bike kind of scene and head over to moto?
Well, yeah, I've been riding mountain bikes for, I don't know, like 20 years now. And yeah, this is actually my first year riding moto comps and moto events. And just different, you know, like every day I wake up and I got new motivations, and I'm learning something new every day I ride. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I don't really need to hike the thing, which helps a lot. And yeah, just loving it.
Now, you're not new into motos, right? You've actually been playing on bikes for a long time.
Yeah, I've been riding dirt bikes since I'm 18, I think. So yeah, I've been always riding the thing, and lately I got into some more shows and kind of taking it a little bit more serious. So yeah, super pumped to be here, and yeah, hopefully we can keep it on two wheels.
All right, so actually we had Andreu at our event at Night of the Jumps about a month ago we had him in Berlin, but the big one was in Cologne. And there's a trick called the 360, and it's like one of your big tricks on mountain bikes. Not many guys in the world do a 360 on a dirt bike. You've been riding for a couple of years, and he's throwing some big threes when he wants to. One was a little bit too big when you just threw it all away. Why did you throw a 360 away?
Well, I felt like I was a little bit under-rotated, so I kind of thought that getting out of there was the best thing to do. And yeah, it kind of worked. Nothing happened to the bike, nothing happened to me, so...
Is that like a mountain bike instinct to just, when things feel like they're going wrong, throw it away?
Yeah, I think so. I felt like just kind of getting out of there was the safest thing to do for me, and it kind of worked. So yeah, I got back up and sent it again.
Kind of. Actually, you did.
Yeah.
You finished your double up with a 360 one-hander, so you went for a bigger trick or a bigger combo in the end. Now, for the guys here that don't know, what were the competitions you were doing before on mountain bikes? Like, you were jumping off cliffs. Like, you weren't just playing around on mountain bikes.
Yeah, I've been doing a bunch of mountain bike contests through the years, and actually I've been to South Africa a couple times already for Dark Fest, which was a lot of fun. And to be here on a dirt bike now, it's yeah, pretty motivating for me, because it's kind of a different sport. But yeah, same feel, you know, just here to have fun and get to know some new riders and new people and put on a show for the crowd, basically.
How were the stakes?
Oh, the steaks are unreal, and can't wait for tonight's steak. Actually.
All he texted me, that's all he wanted to know was, where are the steaks? Where at any restaurant in Montecasino, they've got steaks. Don't worry. And our final rider here up top, all the way from Japan, living sometimes in California, but almost now living sometimes in Europe, Genki Watanabe, otherwise known as Wanky. Thank you very much for coming down for King of the Whip, man. What's it like?
Salut.
Salut. Yeah. Now, we've got two guys here with way too much energy. I've spent a bit of time with them in the last couple of months. These guys are trouble. But Wanky, what's it like to come down to South Africa? Is this your first time? It is.
This is first time coming to South Africa. Then I'm so excited riding this weekend. Also, thank you so much, call me like Ryan, and thank you so much for helping for the bikes like Yamaha South Africa. Thank you so much for fucking having fun, man.
Exactly. Right. How much fun did you have putting all those bikes together yesterday? Because it seemed to be like you guys took 10 hours. I'm guessing that wasn't all building bikes.
Yeah. So yesterday's hectic. I'm almost 24 hours airplane in the flight, then straight to come to here. Then Andreu called me, hey, let's go to the bike walk. I said, come on, man. I want to sleep. But, it's this is my job, so straight to the bike walk, 5 hours, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Then make dope bike. Then let's fucking slow down whip tomorrow.
Let's go and fucking send it. Now, you two guys have actually switched over to Yamahas just recently, right?
Yes.
Tell us the story. How did that all happen? How did it come about?
Translate, please.
Yeah, well, actually, we went to Yamaha, Switzerland to pick up a bike for Genki and for Julien. And when I was there, they asked me if I wanted a bike. So the answer is pretty obvious. And yeah, it kind of came like that. And now to be here with both the teammates for the first time, it's pretty awesome. And yeah, I can't wait to get on the thing tomorrow and send a couple moves.
How do you find the new YZ450?
Man, I love the bike. I was on a Kawi before, and I feel like the new Yamaha, it feels a little bit lighter. And also the no engine brake thing kind of helps a lot with the upright tricks. So it's got a little bit more of a two-stroke feel and a little bit more feel like a mountain bike. So yeah, kind of just loving the thing, and hopefully I can lower the bike a little bit so I can reach the ground and it'd be good.
Man, actually, going back again, we saw you in Berlin. You're on a Kawasaki. 2 weeks later, you turned up on the Yamaha. Brand new bike. Hadn't even been started. You put it all together and you came out and killed it. But what does it feel like to actually ride a brand new bike in a freestyle motocross competition?
Yeah, well, at first I was a little bit sketched out, I come from the mountain bike scene. I'm not really used to work on dirt bikes, to be honest. And yeah, I kind of put the bike together and I didn't really know if I did the right thing. There was a lot of wire around the bike and there's some parts I never seen before, but yeah, it seems like we killed it. The bike worked pretty good and it felt good since the first jump, so yeah, it worked good.
Actually, it was funny. I walked into the pit area and he's there writing down everything for the mapping.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just going to go on Google and check out what the mapping could be and hopefully it works.
Dude, yeah, that was pretty hectic. I finished the bike build and I thought the thing was ready. But then there's this mapping thing I didn't even know about. So Julien sent me his settings and yeah, I kind of got on the phone, which is something I don't really do often. And yeah, I kind of figured it out and yeah, I was just hoping for the thing to work, to be honest.
Right, I'm going to throw it open. I know there's a couple of people here in the Moto Press. If you guys have any questions, we've got freestyle motocross, free ride, motocross, mountain bike, any question. There's no dumb questions. So if you've got anything, let us know. And I think we've got a spare microphone. I'm not going to make it bad, but we want to be able to hear. So any questions from the Moto Press? I'm looking in.
Here we go. Quick one. You've borrowed a bike. You've ridden it how many times? What do you need to do to modify that bike to jump? Is it a standard motocross bike that you borrowed? Or what do you need to do to make it jump? That's the question.
I don't think Andreu has an idea. Do you?
I just called Julien.
Yeah, exactly.
Ask him a bunch of questions.
Yeah. So it's basically a motocross bike. We just changed the bars. We put a stabilizer on the steering. Then stiffer suspension. Maybe we cut the seat a little bit. And then...
Yeah, you put
holes.
The levers on, the foot hook thing, and
yeah,
we just ride it.
That's pretty much it. Huh?
Yeah.
What do you do with the flip levers? Do you know what they do? You just flip them up and hope that they work, or?
Well, flip levers actually kind of used them before on the mountain bike, but it's not something I use often. But yeah, those are actually pretty simple. You know, I'm more cautious about the engine stuff and all the oil change and all this stuff. But yeah, I'm getting used to it now, obviously, and yeah, it seems like it's pretty easy at the end.
Yeah, that's it. I think like in the end of the day, for freestyle motocross, you don't have to do that much work. I think, to be honest, do any of you guys, like, well, you three free riders, freestylers, do you do anything to the motor? Wanky.
He does a lot.
Wenky is always doing
just
bike
a custom pipe, like a cut it.
cleaning the bike.
He rides 1 hour and he works on the bike for 10 hours.
Brand new. That's it.
Yeah, Wenky is gonna have the cleanest bike out there, I think.
Yeah, never show up to if muddy, you know. My bike never show up, dude.
You know it's a dirt bike, right? It's got to have some dirt on there.
Yeah, but anyway, you know, like I like clean, so.
It's not going to be clean. I've seen a lot of orange dirt, you know, floating around there at Terratopia, and I'm pretty sure the dirt we've just seen come into Montecasino, there's dust everywhere. You guys need a bit of rain. Not on Saturday, but you need a little bit more rain. Right, any more questions? Was that a hand up for a question? Or you put your hand down very fast? I love running. It's exactly what I love doing. Yeah, I need a lot of that.
I've got a question for Andreu. I'm not sure that a lot of people realize that you come from a pretty serious mountain biking background. Like you've done some of the craziest events in the world. What do you find is more risky between mountain biking and freestyle motocross?
Well, I think it's pretty similar, you know, because actually when you're pushing, it doesn't matter in which tool you're pushing. So yeah, I think motocross is obviously like really dangerous for sure. The bike weight and the size of the jumps, it's pretty big. But also mountain biking, we're kind of way out there and there's no medical or there's no really like, there's not like close hospitals or an infrastructure that can just take care of you, you know? And also we are riding on a lot more exposed terrain, I would say, you know? Like motocross shows are usually on safe places, parking lots or stadiums. And yeah, mountain biking, we're kind of out there and also we're riding really exposed terrains. Like if you run out of your line or if you miss a landing, you could be in trouble. But yeah, I think both are pretty dangerous on a top level.
All right, I have one actually for Dalton. Coming in late, you've got these boys here. There's more international riders coming in. How's your approach to that? Like you just come in swing, because I've seen you on your run up. Most of the crowd will never see exactly how you come into a ramp, but your swing, let's say the ramp is straight here, you're coming from about here and swinging in. It is so wild that you think he's just going to jump into the crowd or miss the ramp altogether. Is that technique or you're just hoping it works?
So right now with us jumping at Jungle Rush, we have a mat, so I haven't done it, but I have a feeling when I do come up on the day, I will carve quite hard. But yeah, I'm struggling a bit with the jump, so hopefully on the day it changes. But yeah, we'll see.
250F. That's also that's what you're riding, right?
Yes.
What's the choice behind a 250F, knowing that a 450 could help with the whip?
So coming from a motocross background, I could never whip a 450. I could just throw a 250 around like there's no tomorrow. I've had many people say you need to go into a 450, but I don't trust it. So yeah.
Not interested.
I'm not interested.
There you go. Interesting. That to me is quite interesting because I know when I talk, I don't ride 450s. I'm a two-stroke guy. But when I talk to the 450 riders, like, yeah, it just makes life so much easier. But you're talking about what's comfortable for you. So you just hang that 250 out.
Yeah, I guess it's also just a riding style. I like to come in like quite faster than normal and I scrub it a bit. So coming in a bit slower, the seat bounce and all that doesn't seem right to me. So yeah.
It doesn't seem right. Fair enough. It doesn't seem right when I watch you on the run-up. That doesn't seem right, but it seems to work. And again, a couple of years ago, you nearly won the damn thing. Let's see how we go this weekend. Any more questions?
Dalton, quick one. You're riding a used 250, and if I know my buddy's bikes, it's quite a well-used 250. Do you think the guys on brand new bikes have got an advantage, or is it better to ride a bike that's done a few miles, been running properly, the suspension's all running and all that sort of thing, or do the new guys have an advantage?
I would say it's an advantage for most people to have their bikes, because I'm coming from someone's bike that's been used already with a softer spring rate as well. And he's also using the bike in the week. So I would set the bike up for myself, and then he'll go riding in the week and he'll change it, and I wouldn't know where I am again. So it is a bit of a hard one using someone else's bike as well.
All right, we got one question over here somewhere. Oh, Mr. Pat Bowden. We cannot hear you. There might be a button.
Dalton. Just a quick question for Dalton. I'm curious about the 250F. Like, what gear do you hit that in, especially for whips? I assume you have to come in heaps quicker, right?
Yeah, so I try second, but we're running a 51 sprocket, so it's quite short. So I'll just go third gear, and I'll try to use everything on the face. And I'm also not using a pipe or anything. It's a stock pipe, so there's no bottom end either. So it's a bit of a hard one.
He's just going to send it. Don't worry. Just click third and go. All right, guys. I think we're probably wrapped up, unless somebody wants to jump in very quickly. No. Right. Thank you very much. So the first four riders today, or tonight, here at this press conference: Dalton Venter, Antonio Navas, Andreu Lacondeguy, and Genki Watanabe.
Thanks.
Good luck this weekend. Best trick. They've cut me out at that point. I'll come back here. Right, so we're going to bring up a couple more riders. Ooh. And we've got some big dogs in this list as well. So I would like to bring to the stage, if they're still awake, Tom Parsons, possibly suffering from a little jet lag from America. Pat Bowden, who has been in here in South Africa for a couple of weeks now. Dallan Goldman, the local, the legend. Jesse Wright, another local. And someone else who's not really suffering from jet lag, but he does sleep a lot, Julien Vanstippen. We had to wake Julien up to come here. Oh, man. I don't know how you get anything done. He's awake now. Oh, very good. That's good to hear. So I'll just turn that one this way a little bit. Right. Let's start off on the other end with the locals straight away. I have been following Dallan Goldman for many, many years. Finally came down a couple of years ago and met the man himself. So South Africa's #1 freestyle motocrosser. Almost could have taken down Julien, in the first year at Montecasino as well. Pulling out whips, I don't think you've ever done that big before. Dallan Goldman, what's it like to come back third year at Montecasino?
Yeah, man, I'm loving this experience. It's so good to have the international boys out here to, spice up the competition, especially having the X Games athletes. Shout out to Ryan for making this happen. I know it's a lot of hard work leading up to this event, but he's done a magnificent job. And I'm just excited to, get Sandy this weekend. Last year was a little bit rough for me. I ended up fracturing my L3 and coccyx a week before the event. But I just ended up pushing through. I don't think I rode to my full potential. But we'll see how it goes this year.
That's dirt bikes, I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you're coming in a little bit injured right now as well, right?
Unfortunately.
But it didn't seem to stop you today out there at Jungle Rush at the freestyle compound at Terratopia. What's it like actually bringing all these guys? Like, you've got some of the best riders in the world training on, your compound also from Malimi Racing. What's it like to have the guys out there jumping your ramps?
Yeah, man, I love it. Tom was out there today on his stock, which was pretty epic. I've never actually seen one live in action like that before. He's running up to the ramp and there's no sound. So I'm like, is he going to hit it or what's going to happen? But it's awesome, get a bit of international flavor out there. We're having the world's best out here, and I'm just grateful to be able to, ride and compete with them. I've actually ridden with Tom in the US quite a few times at Jared McNeil's compound, so we have a bit of history, which is quite nice. So good to catch up,
What's it like actually riding with Tom, going to Jared McNeil's over there in America? Like, those guys are on another level. Jared has 14, 15 X Games medals to his name. I don't know how many you've got, Tom. We'll get to that in a minute. But does that elevate your riding when you get out and go ride with the big boys?
Yeah, 100%. You know, sometimes I feel like I get a bit lazy out here when there's not a lot of other riders at my level. But as soon as I get in the mix with the rest of the international boys, I always seem to constantly just keep stepping up. So, yeah, it's a nice push for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that if you were at Monty the first year, you definitely stepped up. When we got to that final, it was getting wild. I was getting nervous for you because you were just gotten so damn big trying to chase down, again, an X Games gold medalist, and you were getting pretty damn close.
I appreciate that. Thanks, man. Yeah, hopefully, you know, this weekend we can get some of those X Games athletes under the belt, but yeah, we'll just see what happens.
That's it. Now, tell us, what is your day job? Like, your day job is traveling around doing freestyle shows around South Africa. How does that all, Africa?
Yep.
How does that work? Trying to do that, trying to train and get better.
Yeah, it's not so easy. Obviously, freestyle motocross in South Africa isn't as big, but it's definitely been growing the last few years, so I'm grateful for that. You know, we've been pretty busy throughout the last few years. Obviously, throughout COVID, we took quite a huge knock because before that, we ended up, you know, busy almost every weekend. So it slowed down a bit, but it's definitely picking up now again, and yeah, my dad runs Jungle Rush tree felling and cycling services, so I often help him out wherever I can. And yeah, you know, he's a big reason I'm at this stage in my life. And yeah, if it wasn't for, you know, my dad, my mom, my parents, and my family supporting me, I definitely wouldn't be here. So yeah, shout out to them and all my sponsors. You know, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know that in the moto industry. We already said about it with the sponsors. It doesn't really happen without that kind of help. I'm going to move over to Tom Parsons, all the way from Florida. I believe you're from Florida, but he does travel around a lot. Yeah. Welcome to South Africa.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's actually not much different, honestly. We just had this weather about 3 weeks ago, but we're cooling down now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm living in Germany right now, and it's cooling down very fast in the Northern Hemisphere, so it's quite good to come out here. Mate, you had your first ride today. You're on the Stark. Had your first test ride on the track out there at Terratopia. How did the Stark feel?
It's good. I mean, it's different. It's something kind of new to me. I've been riding a little bit throughout the year and then kind of got on the ramps more serious the last month, but I just think it's fun. I don't know. If you like riding dirt bikes, it doesn't matter whether it's electric or a motor or anything. It's fun.
Have you hit the limit of how many questions you can get asked about that bike? Because it seems like it's the only thing anybody's asked you since you've landed.
I mean, we did about 10 test rides out there today. With
all with everybody else?
Yeah,
actually,
else.
So most of the South African riders have tested it now.
Yeah, basically everybody.
Yeah, I did like hearing a lot of comments though, like, we like the 450s. So that, you know, I'm going to throw that out there. Right, so you're here for Best Whip, of course. You have won how many X Games? 2 X Games? 1 or 2? I can't remember.
I got 3.
3? Oh, sorry. Oh, well, Jesus. Sorry about that, bud. 3 X Games Best Whip competition wins, and that is not a small comp. You're up against the biggest names in the game, but your whip is a little bit different to everybody else. Can you explain why yours is so different?
I don't know how much it's different. It's funny, on the Stark, I had to change it a bit because it doesn't quite work the same as the 450. So I actually am a little bit more similar to Julien. He has kind of a similar whip of kind of the loop out and turn down. And my thing was always just trying to get as upside down as I could so that you couldn't tell if I was doing a backflip or not. That was...
It did look like that. If you saw a photo, you're like, okay, he's just flipped it, but you were just whipping your brains out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something I ended up being good at. I don't know why.
All right, I like that. The crossover from fossil fuel burning to environmentally friendly. Liking the crossover?
Yeah, no,
the differences.
Actually, it's kind of a challenge because I had to change my whip style a little bit, and it kind of like, you know, I've done this a long time, so like to just have like a little different challenge and make me kind of work for it. It's nice, so it motivates me.
I like to see challenges for these old guys up here. I'm glad I can say that. I just hit 40 the other day, so I'm in the vets class. Yes, Patterson.
I just had a question because I was talking about it before with my partner back when you snapped your wrist and you had to ride with the quad throttle. Like, how did that go? Because I can imagine if you're hanging off the bike upside down, like, is there a chance that you could miss the stick? And if you did, like, did that ever happen? Or, like, was it sketchy, or how did that go?
Okay, yeah. So that a lot of people probably don't know that, but yeah, I broke my wrist one year, and before I could like move it good again, I had to run a thumb throttle, so I could ride X Games, and so I could only whip one way because only way I could be sure that I'd push the throttle.
Yeah.
And when I was learning the first few times, I would jump, be whipped, and like try to twist the throttle, and I would just nose over. But it was, I only did it for like 3 months, but it was just to ride X Games, and it was all right. It wasn't actually that bad.
You got to do what you got to do. It's just like riding a farm quad out in the paddock.
Yeah.
Just got the thumb. It's fine. What could go wrong?
Yeah, no.
Except you can only go one direction. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty good on a farm
I
quad.
couldn't stand either. I couldn't hit it standing up either. I had to seat bounce no matter what because I couldn't like give it full throttle.
Did you ever miss it?
I never actually missed it, actually. Yeah, I never missed it, but I tried to stand once, and I gave it like half throttle and just came up like way short.
This might be a dumb question for some people, but when you're talking about standing up and sitting down, what's the difference in that?
Yeah, it's kind of just technique. A lot of us seat bounce guys, when we want to try to get upside down, just the extra pop and the way you loop the bike out for when you want to seat bounce, it helps. You'll see moto guys standing more because they like to scrub. But we pretty much seat bounce. Our seat bounce whips are like the upside down moto style ones. Turn downs and turn ups, we're almost always standing. So it's just, it just works better.
All right. Now, you are one of the free riders here in this group. You spend a lot of time just out in the wilderness trying to find jumps and making really good videos. We've also got, I don't know if he's here, if Levi Doherty's here. He's flat out on YouTube. He's smashing my algorithm right now. But you've been doing that for a very long time. How does that feel, like doing the YouTube stuff, or at least really good content, and now seeing everybody else trying to catch up to that game?
Yeah, it's just fun. I don't know. I ride a lot of the stuff Andreu does, but in Utah and stuff, but on a dirt bike. Actually the mountain bike guys motivate me a lot. Like I love watching mountain bike videos and everything they do. And so, I don't know, it just crossed over. It's just something I really enjoy and love doing, is being out in those crazy areas in the desert and stuff. And then the whip is just kind of something, it's probably not even my favorite thing necessarily. The free riding is, but I do the whip just because it's what I've always done, and it's something I was good at. So
that's quite cool. Now, when we were talking about, so you're here until Friday next week. I'm here on Tuesday the week after. So we might go for a little bit of a safari adventure. And I was like, I don't know where we're going to go. I've put it in Ryan's capable hands if we're going on that safari. But you were pretty quick. You're like, I know that there's some photo bunkers or something up in Kruger National Park. So you're very much into that photography, the videography side of things. That you've already done the research.
Yeah, that's more just a hobby thing. Like I get bored and I just sit on my phone and look at countries I haven't been to, and then find places to take like landscape photos and stuff like that. And so this was one of them that I had never been to. So I have marks all over the country of places.
I think you might have a fan over here who's just walking around everywhere with cameras. Or two fans actually sitting right in front. You'd probably be that good at that online video game, like geolocating or something. If you're just sitting on Google Maps checking out different locations, have you seen that?
No.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's like I'm getting pretty into it. It's like very nerdy, just trying to figure out from one picture where that location is in the world. Sounds like you might be pretty good at it. Check it out on Google. Right, so Tom, we're going to move on to Pat Bowden from Australia. G'day, mate. Good to finally see you again.
Yeah, it's good to be back. A lot of familiar faces I haven't seen in a while because obviously COVID happened and I haven't been back to Europe since. So a couple of old friends, a couple of new friends. All in all, just happy to be here.
Man, it's quite cool because you've just been chilling for the last week or so, and out of the blue, Ryan and Dom told me that, Pat might just pop up. How good is that you're living a dream, that you can just, I'll just pop up for King of the Whip?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. I had no intention of being here up until like a week ago, really. I mean, everyone was talking about it, and once I heard it and I seen it pop on my Instagram, I'm like, oh, actually, I do remember seeing this. But obviously, I just had my mind on so many other things with Freestyle Kings, and broke my ankle 6 weeks ago, so I'd just kind of been focused on trying to get that healed, and then had a few hurdles in the tour, had a few crashes in the high altitude, ended up refracturing my ankle, and didn't actually know if I'd be able to ride this weekend up until like a couple of days ago. So yeah, now that I'm here, I'm just, I'm the type of person I always, for the longest time, I've put a lot of pressure on myself to just be the best that I can be. And like, I'm super competitive. And this event, even though it's a competition, I think my perspective coming into it is just, I'm just here to have fun. And I really just want to like soak up the atmosphere and have fun riding my dirt bike with some old friends and some new friends. And I feel like when I don't put pressure on myself is usually when I ride the best. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Obviously what we do is super dangerous, but yeah, I have good vibes coming into the comp, and based on the broken ankle, pretty surprised that I've managed to heal it as quick as I have. Dodged a massive bullet, breaking it twice, and yeah, like, I don't know, just happy to be here, and I'm excited for the weekend for sure.
That's awesome to hear. Now, I've ridden a lot of comps with you back in Australia, like 10, 15 years ago when you were a young buck coming through, and I was still old then. You're absolutely right in what I saw of a young Pat Bowden was someone who was very hard. You were very hard on yourself, like super competitive. And then when you came to Night of the Jumps, you're in the World Championship. I think you ended up in 2019, second or third overall in the series. And you went for the California roll body varial. We saw that last year if you guys were at Monty. Mark Pignol did that trick. Blew your shoulder out, and that was almost like a little bit of it reset things, I think. And then when I've been talking to you in the last year or so, you've found this new Zen state where you're like, I'm just having fun. And your riding is so much better once you hit that point.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's hard to balance the fine line between like progressing and staying safe. There definitely is like a window that you can kind of balance in, but I'm someone that if I'm not progressing, then I feel stale and the fun kind of gets taken out of it, especially at this point in my career. I've been doing it for so long. I've done who knows how many thousands of jumps, and I've done these tricks so many times that after a while, as fun as it is, you kind of just like, for the most part, you could do it with your eyes closed, and after a while, it kind of just becomes a little bit stale. So I'm always looking for like that progression, but in recent years, especially this last year, it's been a bit of a hard year for me, overcoming injuries and stuff. So now I'm even more hyper aware of injuries, and like, I was only talking about it like in the last hour. I just can't wait to go home and spend December like learning some new tricks because I'm a little bit bored. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, but new tricks come with new risks, and am I really willing to, you know, it's all good when you're in a stadium full of 10,000 people to be the man and do the cool thing, but when you're the one in the hospital bed or you're the one on the couch for the next 12 months, like, is it really that cool? So it's like just trying to find that balance between, yeah, being the best you can be and also staying safe and having fun, because in this sport I've learned so many times that like the rug can get snatched out from underneath you so quick, and when that happens, it's like, what could I have done differently to not be in this position? And you have a lot of time on the couch to think about that when you do make a mistake. So I forget the question, but...
How good are you at video games on the couch?
I really play video games. But when I broke this ankle 6 weeks ago, I think 2 days out of surgery, I was at my compound putting an irrigation system in, and I pretty much didn't sit down at all the whole time I was injured. So it seemed to have worked.
Definitely doctor's advice. That's what that sounded like. Right, next man up. A guy I've had to kind of stay away from this last week since I've been here. Definitely a good time, and I guess you guys know that too. Jesse Wright, South Africa's #1 motocrosser in this kind of best whip scenario. Throwing down, not scared. But how's it going to look for this weekend? I mean, there's a bullseye already on Julien's helmet. And you were chasing him last year. Are you ready to give it another shot this year?
Well, I've struggled a little bit coming back. I had an injury that I re-injured that I had to go for an op for that worked out not working out as good as it should have. And then I had I had to get a new ride and stuff like that, which I'm super grateful for. And I've hit the jump a couple times, and I've really struggled, and Dallan's helped me a lot, actually, get back to feeling comfortable and stuff like that. And yeah, I've been close a couple years with the two dudes. So last year I missed the podium, so yeah, I definitely want to get on there again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking after last year. You were pretty bummed on that decision. I mean, this is a judged competition. That's the hard part. When you're talking about subjective opinions, what I might say on a microphone could be very wrong to the three people judging, and even what you guys feel that you've done. But coming into this year, okay, so you're in the same injury boat a little bit as Pat. Do you reckon you can still throw it down, forget about the injury and just go for it? Or are you going to play it a little bit safer?
I think when the adrenaline's like pumping and the crowd and all the bras are pumping each other up, you know, you forget about your injury and stuff like that. So, and you try to push each other. And yeah, it feels a lot different to motocross, because motocross, you almost don't like your competition. Yeah. Where yeah, everyone kind of boosts you a bit, I feel. Yeah. Which is, it just makes the progression better and easier.
That was actually about to be my next question. The difference from motocross to best whip, obviously you'd like both of them, but what are the real differences? Like when you get into that frame of mind, do you want to race more? Do you want to whip more? How does it feel?
Well, hitting the freestyle jump, I'm super scared of. I wasn't even going to do this year again. And then Ryan made me wear his GoPro to test out the new Teratopia layout. And Dallan was there, so I went in and I was like, can I hit the jump? He's like, yeah, sweet. And then I think the second jump, I threw a big whip, and I scared myself, and I was like, okay, I'm done. But then I said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And the difference between it, I think there's more like camaraderie with the guys, and they work together to be better. Where racing, no one really wants to ride together, because if you're better, then you're generally going to beat them in the race. There's only a couple guys that you can ride with that work with you. But yeah, it's very different. It's different in that aspect.
Yeah, definitely that camaraderie that goes along with it. It's like, yeah, it's free riding. You're just having fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, even I was like to Dallan, I was like, bro, I don't know. I'm like, there's something wrong. I'm not feeling it or whatever. He came down there. He wasn't even riding, just helped me a little bit. So yeah, I mean, the motor guys won't do that. Yeah. You know, if you can't hit her up properly, they're going to be like, well, figure it out.
Thank you, Dallan. It's good that he's here.
Yeah.
Sounds like he wouldn't have been here without you.
The one year, he actually he threw a massive one, and he ended up going down pretty hard. I don't know if you remember that. And he was like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm like, bro, let's get 2 Myprodols in you, some water, and we're going to get you out there. You don't really have a choice. We're forcing you, you know. And then I think that was the year you got on the podium, actually. So, yeah, Jesse goes big.
Just listen to Dallan, Dr. Dallan, it's fine. Yeah. Righto, the last 2 years winner of the King of the Whip, X Games gold medalist from Belgium, Julien Vanstippen. I'm very glad to have you back here this year, man. You could be going for the 3-peat, but there's a lot of big boys have turned up to town who may slow that down. What does it feel like? Is there more pressure this year coming back to Montecasino?
Yeah, it looks like this year is going to be interesting. A lot of good riders, so I can't wait to ride with them and throw some good wit for the crowd. And yeah, I'm stoked to be back. Big thanks to Ryan for bringing me up again, to Yamaha South Africa and Monster. And yeah, I can't wait to ride and see the guys doing some big whips.
You've brought a couple of buddies. We've already spoken to them, Andreu, Julien. You guys are riding together all the time, basically.
Yeah, true. Lately we've been riding a lot with Andreu and Genki. So yeah, it's good. It's fun, good vibes, and always a good time with them.
I think Andreu was saying something about. Oh no, I think that was for the Stark, wasn't it? That you could have just brought your e-mountain bike. I was just trying to remember the question you had or the statement you had about the e-bikes, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Sorry, I was just catching that one out. So there's one for Tom. But Julien, again, you've got these guys coming down. Have you worked on to get your whips either bigger or different styles to counteract? Let's say we know how Tom goes. I know Pat from many years ago. Pat had some of the biggest whips I've ever seen. A lot of these boys are throwing down. Have you worked on anything different, or are you just more perfecting what you've got?
Yeah, this year has been super busy for me. So I've been from show to the show. And I was in Paris last weekend with doing double flip and stuff, so it was a little bit scary for me, and I didn't practice too much. So yeah, this year I'm gonna go just for fun and see what I can do. And like Pat said, when I have fun, I ride the best. So we try.
All right, so that's best whip, best trick. Have you got anything up your sleeve for best trick? Because again, Pat's rolled into town and he's definitely, I would say, one of the trick masters out of the group of riders here. Anything on that side? I mean, you just talked about double backflip. We don't have the ramp for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know you got a couple other big tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, I would love to do double flip here, but not the proper ramp for it. So yeah, I will feel, see how I feel on the bike and on the ramp and see what I can do.
Oh, he kept his close to his chest, didn't he? Maybe you guys can extract a little bit more out of him. Right, actually, I might just open this up to you guys now. Any questions for two-time champ, maybe three, maybe South Africa's best rider? Any questions? Right, where is that other microphone? I think somebody had it there. Thank you, Ryan. It's good to have an assistant here. Just, I think it's Matty, is it? Can't see. I don't have my glasses on. No one.
So Dallan, how did you feel after doing Freestyle Kings? Do you feel a little bit more confident for King of the Whip, or?
Yeah, it was a super fun tour. First time I got a ride with Pat, and yeah, I was super impressed with his riding. His turndowns are pretty huge too, so I'm expecting good things for him in this competition. But yeah, riding with the boys definitely, gave me an extra push, an extra edge, and yeah, there's certain tricks I haven't really done in a long time. But yeah, seeing the boys go so hard, it definitely motivated me, and I started pulling some of the tricks out the bag, So yeah, I'm pretty sure once I see all the boys going big this weekend, I'm definitely gonna, give a push.
What about your upright combos? I saw something today that I'd never seen before, that airplane C-grab thing. What was that?
I don't know what to call it, I've seen one or two of the boys or David Ronaldo do his own version of it. I saw Julien working on something like that, similar to that too, and I was like, damn, I've never actually tried that. Let me maybe just try my own little style of it, and yeah, it's not working out too bad. I think I'll give it a couple smashes tomorrow, try get a bit bigger, and then hopefully on the day I can, do the biggest one yet.
Actually, one of your buddies who should be riding tomorrow, is he still in hospital?
No, he's
out of hospital. Okay, yeah. Jacques Human. How do you say his last name?
Human, yeah.
That's not a good sign, but definitely one of your buddies. He's on the Jungle Rush team. Hopefully we get to see him back again, but he's had a bit of a rough year, right?
Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough one, unfortunately. Under-rotated a flip earlier this year and ended up crushing his thumb, so he had to get surgery on that. And then he didn't spin some flips for, 4 or 5 months or so. It came back, and then out of nowhere just spun one at a show. Started getting confident again, started flipping some other ramps, and then I think he just had some unfortunate luck. I'm not sure if he wheel spun or what it was, but he ended up under rotating and coming up a little bit short yesterday, and he dislocated his shoulder, unfortunately. So we're going to get the full extent of what's going on, I think, on Monday. But unfortunately, this is the second year he's missing King of the Whip. But he will be there on Saturday night to join us and come support, and shout out to my boy, because he's one of the hardest working oaks I know, especially in this country, that's for sure. So I got all the love and respect for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I just wanted to bring it up because this is not an easy game. One of our guests here in the auditorium here at the World of Yamaha, we've got Pringles back. We've got Keenan here, one of the coolest dudes that I've actually got to meet. I saw you again in Guernsey only a couple of months ago. It's 365 days since your crash. I don't know, maybe chuck him a microphone, Ryan, that'd be great. I'm going to give you a microphone as well on Saturday, because I reckon this is going to be a laugh with you getting around, and it'll take a bit of pressure off me.
Let's go.
Let's go. So what has happened for everybody since last year? Because this is what Pat was talking about before. When you're on the couch, when you're broken, that's the bit that nobody sees. And you haven't had a good one.
Yeah, also shut the bed practice last year. Unfortunately, split-second decision. I decided to jump off the bike, and I landed on the knuckle. And immediately when I crashed, I thought, okay, 4 or 5 months should be sweet. And yeah, here I am, 365 days. Last surgery about 3 weeks ago. Actually picked up a post-op infection. It's a double surgery to get rid of staph. And yeah, slowly on the mend, but yeah, it's 7 surgeries in total now. Still wobbling around, got my new 450 here. No motor, but yeah, it's at least good to check the boys and still be in the mix a bit. But yeah, hasn't been definitely not easy, but you got to stay headstrong and, you know, day by day, every 1%, you should be sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that you've got to come up. Where did you come from? Cape Town?
Cape Town, yeah.
Good to see you come back up for this event because I know what it feels like when you go through injuries. I'm 7 years on since my last crash, and it took a long time to at least admit defeat that I wasn't going to right. Well done. Thank you very much to Monster Energy South Africa for that one. Yeah, we're getting onto the stuff you don't want to hear about. Yeah, we're going to forget about injuries. I want to talk about that green logo on your hat. Where did that come from? Didn't have that last year, did you?
No, I just picked it up now. Signed on for November for the next year. So, yeah, pretty pumped. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I've been doing work with Monster for many years now. So, yeah, I'm super proud to be on the brand. And, yeah, we've got some big things coming up in the new year. So, shout out to the Monster crew. Always having a good time with them. And I always feel the love and support from them. So, always a good time. Shout out.
Hell yeah, it's always good when you get those nice new helmets printed. I've actually been doing quite a lot of Monster shows with these guys, with Julien, Andreu, Wanky up in Europe. It's been fantastic. The crew has been great. We've even got our European DJ coming down, DJ Maya. So that's going to be pretty sick. Working with him, like you said, it's a really good crew to have around. The opportunities, man, it blew me away kind of joining this crew. So I'm glad to see the hard work has finally paid off and you've got the Monster helmet, man.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I got a nice custom paint job with the SA flag representing for the country out here. So yeah, hoping to get onto that podium this weekend and hold that helmet high, you know.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I like to hear. Any more questions out there, or is there any from the live stream? No. Yeah, God, I'm blind. I told you, I don't have my glasses on. You're too close. I'll give you this. It's okay.
So my question's for Tom. Tom, so I saw on your Instagram page that this is the first competition, obviously, for you on the stock. Just tell us, obviously, I heard that you brought over suspension for the bike itself. Yeah. And, I mean, what horsepower do you ride the bike in? What modes do you ride that bike in? Because, I mean, it's basically a computer. I mean... Yeah, just tell us a little bit about that, yeah.
Yeah, the nice thing, I brought suspension, bars, and foot pegs. That's all I really had to bring for it because it's the motor. And the nice thing, you don't have to deal with the altitude. At least I don't think it affects the battery or anything, but it's my first comp on it. When I found out I was coming, I started full time and didn't touch the 450 to get ready for this. And yeah, it's kind of funny. I was running at home, 58 horsepower, and that's like equivalent to my 450 basically. But today on the ramp, I actually was down at 55. So it's kind of interesting on it because depending on the gap and the type of ramp you're on, you can actually adjust the horsepower to make you basically jump it, not go long or case or anything. Yeah. So it's kind of, but it's a little, at first, when I first jumped the ramp, it's a little scary because you set it and you're like, I think 57 horsepower should jump it, but you have no clue until you go up and 450, you can rev it. You're like, go up to the ramp, you're like, burp, 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 you give it a nice one, you can't really hear it. You're just like hoping it's going to turn on the ramp. But yeah, I love the bike. I've been having a lot of fun on it. So it's kind of like motivated me more to get back on the regular ramps.
You said something yesterday about knowing the jump being, okay, this is a second gear jump because I know that'll get me, 105 foot or something, and third gear will get you 100 and whatever. How difficult has that been coming to the start because there's no gears?
Yeah, that's a little weird. I luckily haven't had to do anything too crazy. Like if it was imagination or something, it'd be a little gnarlier to like have any idea how fast to go. The ramp, it's not too bad. I've jumped up to like a third gear ramp, like 120 on it, but I don't know. I'm still trying to learn that, so I haven't been to like a bunch of different size jumps where you would be in third or fourth or fifth or anything like that, where the 450, I know, I'm like, I can go 105 feet in second, I can go 160 in third. Anything bigger, I need to be in fourth or fifth. That thing can probably go like 400 feet. It's like, I have no idea.
We're talking Pat Bowden kind of questions now, isn't it? Are we going to talk about that, Pat, or are we keeping that secret?
Just keep it down.
I like that. That dude has got some wild ideas. Yeah, when you were talking today about you started at 58 and then you thought, oh no, maybe I'll come down. When you brought your 55 or brought it down to 55 horsepower, and I was wondering, does that bring the range, the whole range down, or is it part of the range? Is it the peak of the range?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know actually, but I think as far as I know, it brings like the whole map down, like the torque. It lowers the torque and then the top speed. Like everything just kind of it's like going from a bike at sea level to a bike at altitude, pretty much. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But yeah, like I said, you can adjust it. So it's like, it actually, in the end, makes the ramp easy because if you're going long, you just pump it down a little bit and then you're fine.
Do you ever end up like following anyone over the ramps, or do you just like, okay, I'm just going to hit this now?
I mean, I followed you today.
Did you?
Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah, you towed me in twice. You didn't even know it. So that's the thing. Yeah, you can just ride behind somebody. They don't know you're there, and yeah, that was the easiest thing. I wasn't sure. He was like, I wasn't sure like on the gap and doing what horsepower and stuff. So it was just I just kind of followed him in just to give me an idea.
What does it feel like to know that Tom just followed you in, who has done this forever?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I had no idea actually. But yeah, I can imagine like it must be a bit awkward, like not having that rev range. So the silent assassin over here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's easy though. I've jumped with him. We've rode in the States, so I know he hits the ramp similar, and so I don't think about it. I'm like, if I follow him, I'm going to be fine.
There was no qualms about it. Actually, there was one thing you said today when we were in the car park out there at Terratopia, and you're like, oh man, I don't envy anybody riding a two-stroke at altitude. The man sitting right next to you is on a YZ250. Pat, any plans on that bike?
No plans at this stage, just going to see how it feels, honestly. But I know from past experiences in Mexico and even just like riding a couple of weeks ago here, we did a show here a couple of weeks ago, and the altitude, I feel like after a couple of jumps, you kind of get the hang, like you just kind of get used to it, and you don't realize until you go back to sea level how bad the bike actually was, but definitely underpowered by a good like 5-10%. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, my goal is just to have fun, and I think that's how I'm gonna do well here. So that's planned. But I had another question back to the start, because I have one as well, and I was just curious with the whips, because on a 450 when you carve for a whip and you're in second gear and you're on the limiter, it's only second gear, but on the Stark, if you rev it, the wheel's spinning like 150, 200 kilometers an hour. Yeah. And when I carve for a turn and I accidentally gas it off the lip a little bit too much, and the wheel starts spinning so quick that you can feel the whole bike gyrating, and I have to hit the back brake, and it's just everything's just so aggressive. How did you adjust to that?
I'm still adjusting a bit, actually. Like what he's talking about is like a lot of times when you whip, you have the throttle on a little off the ramp, whether you're trying to get looped out more or whatever it is. On the Stark, it's like the opposite. You can't have the gas on, because if you go off, it spins up so fast, your whip either stops or, like you said, it starts spinning so fast, like, especially if you don't have straight wheels. You must not have very straight wheels.
Maybe on the Pat Bowden maintenance program.
He might need to check his spokes too, but yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah, exactly what he's saying though. Yeah, when you have to learn to shut the throttle off when you've never done that. It's like not natural.
It's like the tiniest little bit of gas.
Yeah,
throttle.
like half a second off the
Let's
ramp.
go throttle.
Like
Let's
half
say-
a second off the ramp, and it whips done. If you do it, yeah.
What about OJs? Do you struggle with that?
Over jumps, he means.
Coming in and just giving it a little bit too much gas and throttle and going like all the way to flat.
I haven't on the ramps or anything. Like, knock on wood. Most of the stuff's been okay. Like a couple bigger things I did a couple like 120-foot dirt. Those ones I had couple long ones that were scary. Yeah.
Right, for the international guys, Julien, Pat, Tom, Andreu, Wanky, have you guys had a bra yet? Do you know what a bra is?
Bruh.
No.
Bob.
Because these boys love their steaks, so I don't know if Ryan, are we going to organise a bra? Is Darby organising something? Because we need to get a little bit of South African bra action happening. I guess maybe Jesse can organise something too, mate.
Yeah. It's probably dangerous for me to organise a bra.
All right, maybe we don't do it. Ryan, can you please take care of it? We'll forget about Jesse. No, okay, so you haven't done that, so these boys are up for it.
You're going to eat some steaks, my bro. Slacker.
I want a question for Darren. So good to see you. I love you, man, so much. So I have a question for you. We want to eat big ass fucking steak tonight. So where is a good restaurant in the town and Montecasino?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know if I can give you a real good answer on that one, bro.
The Husa Grill, bro.
We end up buying our own steaks 90% of the time, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe after the comp or whatever, we can go back to my place and we'll cook you up an epic bra, some steaks on there, bro. My mother-in-law knows how to sort out those steaks, bud. So we'll look after you, boys. Don't worry.
Sick. Thank you so much.
We've got a question from someone online. What do the international athletes that you lot think about doing shows in the South African climate / altitude? Is it easy to adapt? Is it the same as going all over the world? Some of you have come from winter climates into summer. Does that have an effect on your performance?
Who's that?
I'll answer it.
Yeah, whoever wants to go would be great.
I've been on the two-stroke, so for me, the temperature over here is pretty similar to back home, but for certain tricks like double flips, for example, you need, for my technique in particular, I use the power on the ramp to get the flick of the bike, and I learnt the hard way that doing double flips in altitude without popping the ramp up doesn't really work because the power on the bike's not really there. And just before I did the double flip, I was thinking I should probably put my chest protector on. But then I thought, well, why would I do that? Because I'm not going to crash. And then the next second, I crashed and I'm winded and my ribs hurt. I'm like, oh, I probably should have put the chest protector on. So yeah, definitely on the two-stroke makes a difference. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
For Julien, you've just come from snowy old Belgium. What about you coming down here in nice, perfect weather here in Johannesburg?
Yeah, it's good to be around good weather. I feel like a holiday a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to get some tan, hopefully. And yeah, also for the altitude, I remember last year and the year before, it was a little bit less powerful than we have in Belgium. So just feel like I have to jump a little bit longer and I make it. So good for Andreu and Wanky, and Antonio.
Sorry, go.
The first time Julien came out here, he got a bike and he's riding around and he's like, dude, something's wrong with the bike. We're like, no, dude, you high, bro. Altitude's mad up here, so the coastal makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Belgium, you're basically under sea level, right? Like, you must be minus 5 meters at Belgium because you're so under. Or is that Netherlands? You're both of them. You're both so flat. You're running at about 5 meters above sea level.
Yeah, we're like 500 meter high, I think. So
biggest mountain in Belgium.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better. That's like I'm like the height of the roof. That's my elevation. Yeah, I live in Florida.
So you're on the Everglades then?
Oh, I am. It's hard to breathe actually. I was riding today. I was like, I was doing loops like fast because I was like, geez, I need to get some fitness before Saturday.
A bit late.
Tom, here's a question for you. We know that the stock weighs slightly more than a normal petrol-powered motorbike. Do you feel it in the air? How do you adjust it? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's kind of, you don't notice it as much when you're riding it. There's some guys riding them, so I don't have this here. They have like a light battery also for them that basically make them a 450 weight. This is like the standard battery, so it's like it's probably 20 pounds more, whatever that is. And
10 kilos?
About 8 kilos, plus minus.
Yeah, something like that. So, but you honestly, once you're riding it, it's kind of weird. You feel it a bit when you're whipping, but it's partially because of how much torque it's got. But honestly, it's like so skinny, and they've put like in the weight in such good spots. Like, I don't think it really affects you too much.
Nice. Any more from the live stream? That's it from the live stream. Any more from you guys here? Shouldn't have stood in the light. Oh, all right. One of the competitors. That's what I like to see.
And a quick one, Tom. Like, did you by any chance add a clutch or a shift or anything? Because I know when I whip, I like to hook my foot underneath the shifter, and I like to hold my clutch as well.
No shifter or nothing. I don't really hook under the shifter for any whips or anything like that. But yeah, I know the moto guys. A lot of the moto guys love hooking the shifter. The clutch, I ride with my finger on the clutch because I'm from like a racing background, so that's like ingrained in me. So I switched to the handbrake so I could have my finger on something. I like couldn't ride with my fist. I had the foot brake, and it was like terrible.
Would that make it worse, touching the back brake, thinking it's a clutch?
You get used to it pretty quick. Honestly, I think it's sweet. Like, I've done tricks where I've like learning tricks again, and I've just gooned out and like looped out, and I'm just like pull it in when it fixes the bike, and I'm good.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. Different countries have their bicycle brakes set up. Like in Australia, we have front brake for a motorbike on the right-hand side, front brake for a bicycle on the right-hand side. You're opposite. I don't know how it is here in South Africa.
Same.
Why? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. So you had to switch it up from what you knew as a bike rider. You guys would have to as well.
Yeah. I switched when I knew I was gonna start riding the Stark and get the handbrake. I switched my mountain bike because I was like, I got to start somewhere. I didn't want to do something stupid.
Well, I did that. I bought an e-bike over in Germany, and where I thought the back brake was the front brake, and I did a front flip on my very first day. That was awesome. So I learned very quick to switch things around. Any more questions, guys? If not, then perfect. I want to say thank you very much for coming here tonight. I hope you enjoy the pizza, the beers, the monsters, if you'd like to try that out at whatever time this is right now. Thank you very much. We're going to be at Montecasino, 2 p.m., I believe, is gates open, 4 o'clock start.
Pit walk 2 to 4.
Sorry?
Pit walk from 2 to 4.
Thank you very much. Dallan Goldman, can you please run the show for me, because I've already forgotten about it. Pit walk 2 to 4. So for everybody watching on the live stream, if you've got tickets, I guess everybody here already has tickets. You're very lucky. Pit walk, come meet these guys, get the autographs, and then we will get stuck into the competition. 4 quali groups. There's a lot of riders, actually. How many riders have we got, Ryan? Are we on 26 was my last count. 25. Oh, not bad. There's a lot of what we thought could have been a lot of changes. So 25 riders, 4 groups, semi-finals, finals, best trick upright, best trick backflip. Guess there's a couple of guys who are going for some different disciplines there. It will be insane. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you Saturday night, Montecasino. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. Good luck, guys. I love the attitude. Just coming to live the dream, Pat. I love this that you just turned up, man.